Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. Dreamers Pro here. We've been accused of being one of the biggest LeBron James haters that you got going. Some people from time to time try to give you the moniker of Skip Bayless 2.0 or the Black Skip Bayless. We get this from time to time. And sometimes I wonder, okay, if I'm Black Skip Bayless, and who the hell is Nick Wright? I don't know. I don't know. Y'all help me figure it out. But some people try to say, oh, you're a hater and all of this stuff. But these people don't spend enough time talking about all the people in media. They go out there and twerk it up all over the place and knock over drinks and slap each other with honey and basically be hollering and screaming, gyrating all over the floor, right? They don't really spend much time talking about them. And we noticed a shift in the GOAT debate, let me say around 2015, when certain people made it on the scene, especially on big media, and you started having these voices going out there pushing this LeBron James now. Oh, LeBron is this. LeBron is close to Michael Jordan. LeBron is close to Michael Jordan. Someone was like, wait, huh? How the hell did LeBron, with 3 rings, all of a sudden get to sit next to Michael Jordan? And who are these voices promoting this? Nick Wright was one of them. Of course, you had Kendrick Perkins himself. He was out there saying that. You had a few others. But then one particular voice on Undisputed by the name of Shannon Sharp all of a sudden turned into this huge LeBron James supporter. Huge one. But then you can harken back to some old tweets like from 2011 when Shannon Sharp said the 3 best players ever to play basketball: God, Michael Jordan, and Kobe Bryant, in that order. And I'm like, So Kobe was the top 3. And then as time went on, Kobe went from the top 3 to now being Shannon Sharp's number 9. Then Jordan, who was number 1, and I think LeBron wasn't even in his top 10 at the time, all of a sudden Jordan fell down the list and LeBron moved up. And then Kareem moved. I'm like, but how is Shannon moving all of these players that retired? How all of us are like, what's happening here? And then something interesting happened. I was going to the internet and someone sent me an article here, right? It's from the website called weeknews24hours.com. And it has the following headline. It says, breaking: FS1 host Joy Taylor once exposed Shannon Sharp for being paid to say LeBron James is the GOAT. And I was like, oh, wow. This is just wonderful. I just cannot wait to get into today's show. So first thing I want to do is I want to read what the article says here. It says the following: Joy Taylor and Shannon Sharp. It says, with immense love from the fans comes harsh criticism from the haters. The same is the case of Los Angeles Lakers star LeBron James, who constantly dominates the NBA headlines. An old incident surfaced on social media via Fox Sports host Joy Taylor accused NFL legend and her former colleague Shannon Sharp of being paid to claim LeBron is the GOAT. The recording appears to be during Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless' Undisputed show on Fox Sports, which Joy Taylor hosted. It was posted on X from a verified account, The Truth, known for sharing narratives against the Lakers star. The account also shared NBA analyst Rick Bucher's allegations on Klutch Sports for dictating the storylines of LeBron James's career. In the Joy recording, the FS1 host seemingly exposed Shannon Sharp for getting paid to claim LeBron is the greatest player. So what we want to do is we want to play exactly what this clip had to say here, and then we're going to come back and continue on with the show. Take a listen, please.
You know what? I have some inside information as to why you are saying that LeBron is the GOAT now.
No.
Really?
You have no inside.
I'm
do
not
tell.
gonna snitch,
No.
Do
but I
tell.
Don't be trying to snitch, Joy.
Do
I'm
tell.
not gonna snitch.
What do we
I heard it too,
Say
Joy. I heard it too, Joy.
Shannon can't be bought. His loyalty can't be bought.
Wait, did you just get exposed?
What I do?
You got bought?
Nope.
You're not ready to tell yet?
Nope.
No? All right.
So you heard what the clip had to say there. Let me tell y'all who was in that clip. It was Skip Bayless, who was clueless because Skip thought, oh, we're doing it the noble way. Yeah, all right. Joy Taylor, Steven Jackson, and Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp absolutely did this. Do you know why? Because he didn't deny it. He was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Got some of us out here looking at Shannon funny, sound like, yo, son been lying for a minute. If we now juxtapose this clip with some of the recent stuff that been happening, like, yo, son been capping for a minute. What's going on with you, boy? Seems like you got a reputation out here. But anyway, this surprises no one. I think the only people that would be surprised by this information are absolutely clueless LeBron fans. Hold on. Y'all actually thought that Shannon Sharp actually believes what he's saying? Y'all actually thought, Joy Taylor said, I just heard that he's getting paid to say LeBron is the GOAT. But the question is, how many people out there do you think are getting paid to do this? Do you think it's just him? You can't be that dense, can you? You can't be that naive to believe that, oh, everybody that's saying LeBron is the GOAT, they really mean it. You really think that? Most of these people saying this want to have a job in sports media. It's like a grift. Sorry to break it to some of you guys. It's a grift. Just like in politics, there's certain grifts that you can do. And we all know the grifters. In sports, and in this case in the NBA, there's a grift. What's the grift? One of the grifts is if you want to gain some traction and be within the in group, especially in corporate media and all of that, start saying LeBron is a GOAT. Start saying that he's better than Michael Jordan. Start saying, oh, the eras in the past, they weren't really that great. And what you're doing is you're ingratiating yourself with the narrative that's being propagated, which is the old eras suck. Jordan wasn't really that good, and LeBron is really the guy. And then by doing so, you placate to the younger audience who don't know any better, and they're very impressionable. They don't watch highlights. They don't do research. So they're going to follow along quite easily. So when you see people like in their 40s, 50s saying this, you got to think twice. Do you know why? Because they actually saw Jordan play. They actually witnessed him in his prime. So for them to be saying some of this stuff, you got to sit back and say, but what the hell are you even talking about? That's number one. Number two, Shannon actually tried to tell the story of how he became a LeBron fan. Let me say it for you guys quickly and tell me if it makes any sense to you hearing it. Apparently, he had a friend and they started arguing about Kevin Durant and LeBron James. But prior to that, Kobe Bryant was Shannon Sharp's favorite player. Follow the story. But the other guy was a Kevin Durant fan. So get this. Shannon said, okay, even though I'm a Kobe guy, I'm now going to start supporting LeBron because that guy is supporting KD to show that LeBron is better than KD. So now LeBron became his favorite player and he forgot about Kobe. Does that make any sense to you? Does that make any sense to you? Who gives up their favorite player for a reason like that? Who? Nobody. Man, Kobe used to be my favorite player. For real, for real, for real. He used to be my favorite player. But people started saying Giannis is better than Joker. So Joker now is my favorite player of all time. And matter of fact, even though I used to think Kobe was a top 3 player, top 2 player of all time, I think Kobe number 9. That's idiotic. That's ridiculous. That's actually ridiculous. It's almost as ridiculous as I didn't know that my phone was live. It's along that same wavelength. It's all ridiculous. But the fundamental thing here is, I'm not the one that said it. We're talking about someone in the business. Hold on. Y'all actually think that this doesn't go on? You actually believe, y'all are that naive? You really think that? You really think that? Of course. Of course. And if you listen to Shannon's arguments, almost none of them make any sense. That's another indicator that he doesn't believe what he's saying when it comes to this GOAT debate. It's another, listen to the argument. They make no sense. How many times have I heard him say, when I think LeBron got swept in 2018 or something, he was like, after this, I'm never going to say that LeBron is LeBron. No, he said the GOAT debate is over after that. The very next year, the GOAT debate is back on. We're back at it again. So this really doesn't surprise me. People do this. People do. It's called grifting. It is called grifting. You say things to make you money, even if you don't believe it. Now, to some of y'all, that may seem like, really, I would never do that. But that's you. A lot of people would. Marco and I were just talking about it. we were talking about it for our other channel. Marco, the co-founder of Dreamers Pro, we're talking about for the other channel. We have another channel. We talk about politics, business, economics, and current events and all of that. It's called Here's What I Think. You guys can go subscribe to it. Just if you're interested, obviously. It's called Here's What I Think on YouTube with Charles Tabansi. Anyway, so I was talking to him about this very thing, but in a different. And I was like, man, you know what, man? There are a lot of people on YouTube that make a lot of money talking politics, and some of them grift. So they go out there and they say things that they don't believe, but they do it to pander, and they know that they're going to make a lot of money doing so. I said, I can't do it. I can't come up here lying to people. I can't do it. I can't do it. Because after a while, you're going to start telling on yourself. People are going to start pulling up receipts like we just did. People are going to pull up quotes like, yo, but Charles, you said this back in this year. You said that about that year, but now all of a sudden you're saying that. That's called grifting. But there are people that have no issue with that. They can grift, they can lie. As long as it's making them money, that's all that matters. And I can't do that. So yeah, you heard Joy Taylor. So LeBron fans, I'm hating, right? Oh, he's hating. He's hating. The classic deflection. Spend absolutely zero time focusing on what the show is about and start talking about what's happening over there in New Caledonia. Oh, well, did you know that there's seagulls that drink coffee on the beach in New Caledonia? They just totally act like they don't even hear the story. The Lakers have a game tonight, I think, in Milwaukee. Where they're going to be playing against the Milwaukee Bucks. And based on what I've heard earlier this morning, LeBron James is not happy at the fact that the Lakers have to travel there for one preseason game. So who knows? Maybe they may not show up entirely. Who knows what the hell is going on there with them? But we know that this is going to be a pretty big season for the Los Angeles Lakers this season. Why? Because number one, LeBron is going to be entering he's going to be year 22, and he's going to be 40 years old. I think by the turn of the year, by the turn of the new year, by the end of the year, LeBron should be 40 years old. So you have that. You also have the storyline of his son Bronny James being brought into the fold. That's another thing. And then of course you have one of the biggest storylines around the team, which is their new head coach JJ Redick, who took over after the Lakers fired Darvin Ham after a year and a half, essentially, of his services. They fired Darvin Ham. They said he was not the right guy for the job, right? They fired him. So now they have a new coach, new rookie head coach in JJ Redick, who has absolutely zero coaching experience. But speaking of Darvin Ham, as time has gone on, we began to learn that a lot of the players, including LeBron himself, who has publicly disgraced his coach on TV, were not fans of Darvin Ham, right? They did not like him. They didn't. A lot of Laker fans did not like his substitution patterns. We heard people complaining about all season long. So what happened? This morning, we were actually looking for what to produce, and Mitch sent over an article from Lakers Daily with the following headline, and it says, report, Lakers players hated playing for Darvin Ham and have loved everything JJ Redick has brought. And I was like, man, this is going to be a very, very interesting article and topic for today's show. So let's get into what this article has to say here. It says, according to sources of Hoopwire, Mather, members of the Los Angeles Lakers enjoy playing under head coach JJ Redick far more than they did playing under Darvin Ham. Although the Lakers have only played 2 preseason games, both losses, under Redick, NBA sources have told Hoopswire that they have loved everything Redick has brought to the table, Mather wrote. Those same sources also said that the Lakers players hated playing for Ham, who is now an assistant coach back with the Milwaukee Bucks. ESPN's Dave McMenamin reported last month that folks were telling Redick it would be a bad idea for him to take the Lakers job in the offseason. From when Redick first talked about the position with Pelinka during the NBA draft combine in May to officially becoming a Lakers candidate along with New Orleans assistant James Borrego and UConn University of Connecticut coach Dan Hurley, several people close to Redick told him it would be a bad idea to take it, sources told ESPN, McMenamin wrote. But Redick was introduced as the 29th head coach in the franchise history last summer, and the Lakers hired him to replace Ham. In Ham's 2 full seasons as the head coach of the Lakers, Los Angeles never was truly a great regular season team. The Lakers won 43 games in the 2022-2023 regular season and 47 the season after the Los Angeles Lakers had to fight their way through the play-in in order to qualify for the 2023 NBA playoffs and then the 2024 NBA playoffs. With the start of the new 2024-2025 regular season just under 2 weeks away, Redick is hoping that he will lead the Lakers to enough wins to the point where the team will secure a top 6 seed in the Western Conference and not have to participate in the play-in tournament. And then the article then goes on to say a few other things there. So that's how much of a whirlwind it was last year that I didn't even realize the fact that Darvin Ham coached 2 full seasons with the Lakers. I thought it was a year and a half. I'm thinking about Russell Westbrook, who's with the team for a year and a half. So Darvin Ham coached the team for for 2 years. Now let's get about this. Let's talk about this comparison between JJ Redick and Darvin Ham. Based on some of the things that I've seen, JJ Redick has a much more free-flowing offense that he's trying to implement, where is primarily predicated on ball movement and player movement. You're always moving, always cutting, always swinging the ball. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out for players like LeBron James and Anthony Edwards, and whether they're going to be willing to move that much throughout a 48-minute game on a night in, night out basis in order to implement that offense that JJ Redick is looking to implement. So that's the first thing. But listen, I'm not buying into all of these colorful words and this long grammar that this article wrote and what players are saying and how much they like. To me, I don't care whether or not they like Darvin Ham or they didn't like Darvin Ham or they like JJ Redick. That's not important. How this team ultimately will be judged is not based on how much they like their coach. It's going to be based on the results that they produce. And the fact of the matter is, in the 2 years that Darvin Ham coached this team, the first year they made it to the Western Conference Finals. All right. And they lost to the eventual NBA champions. The next year they made it to the playoffs and they lost in the first round to the defending champions. The point is, they made the playoffs 2 consecutive seasons. And in the first one, they made a proper run. Now, I was always a skeptic of people trying to blame all of the woes of the Lakers on Darvin Ham. Do you know why? Because I always ask this question. Is Darvin Ham a good coach or is he a bad coach? Because whenever the Lakers were doing well, I never heard these conversations about Darvin Ham was a terrible coach. I never heard any of that. It was all kumbaya, hugs, and kisses. But then the minute they start losing or they go through a difficult patch, then all of a sudden Darvin Ham can't coach out of a paper bag. So I never really bought into that, right? They seemed a little bit too temperamental for me, these opinions. But ultimately, that doesn't matter. Do you know why? Because Darvin Ham is no longer the coach anymore. The new coach is JJ Redick. So if JJ is not able to produce a better result, for example, what's a good barometer for the regular season? Be a top 6 seed. Don't be a playing team. That would be a reasonable goal to try to achieve. But if the Lakers end up being a playing team, I don't see how they've made an improvement. And if they don't make a serious run in the playoffs, I don't see how they made an improvement there. This is going to be judged based on the results. Not all of these wonderful words, or if the players go out to dinner with the coach, that is irrelevant. And I think that is important that we keep the same energy for JJ Redick for the entirety of the NBA season, the same way we did with Darvin Ham. If Darvin Ham sneezed in the wrong direction, people will start criticizing him. So I need to see that same energy for JJ Redick. The same way Laker Nation and whoever LeBron fans didn't give Darvin Ham grace in terms of, it's his first year in the NBA trials trying to figure it out. Well, we ain't going to give JJ Redick that same benefit of the doubt as well. We're going to keep the energy the same from start to finish. And if I notice that there's a discrepancy the way that Darvin Ham is being covered versus the way JJ Redick is being covered, then I know we're dealing with, number one, we're not a serious fan base, and number two, that we know that this must have Klutch Sports written all over it. It must be sprinkled in somewhere. So this is wonderful. I'm glad that the Lakers like playing for Darvin Ham. For JJ Redick, wonderful. It's heartwarming. To use what Cam said, is delicate, but please, this is ultimately going to be judged by the results. LeBron is back, and that means there's going to be new drama. Someone sent me a clip from this Netflix show that they have going on. It's like a basketball show. I don't know, Starting Five, I think is what it's called. And it features Jason Tatum, Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, I think Jimmy Butler, and one other person. I don't remember the other NBA player, right? So I view this clip, and in this clip, there's basically cameras following these various players and their teams. And in one of the clips, you can see LeBron James in a huddle while his coach at the time, Darvin Ham, was drawing up a play, and they're kind of talking about a play, and then LeBron is also directing him to do this, whatever. So LeBron then stands up and basically starts complaining about his minutes restrictions. I don't support this BS. I don't support that BS and all of that. But as I was doing research this morning, I actually came across the written form, of what he said. So it's from a Fadeaway article, and it says, LeBron James hated being on a minute restrictions last year under Darvin Ham. Continues on. At the start of last season, LeBron James found himself in an unfamiliar and uncomfortable position, playing under minutes restrictions. Entering his 21st NBA season, the Los Angeles Lakers coaching staff, led by then head coach Darvin Ham, decided to limit LeBron's playing time in an effort to preserve his health and longevity. However, this decision did not sit well with the 38-year-old superstar who has built a career on pushing his physical limits and being available for his team as much as possible. Yeah, I know y'all got me on that effing old man time percentage bleep. Play 8 minutes of bleep. 2 shots in 8 minutes and just getting cardio. I hate this bleep already. This bleep is garbage. The minutes restrictions is something I don't agree with. I never agree with it. I prepare my body physically and mentally. Prepare my body physically and mentally. Prepare my mind for battle. I've had no conversations and talks and battles with my coaches, and I get it. But I also understand me, and I get me more than anybody else gets me. Now that was LeBron James essentially talking about his minutes restriction. The article then goes on in says a few other things. It says, the candid clip from a newly released documentary starting 5, LeBron did not mince words when discussing his feelings about the minutes restrictions. It was clear that LeBron felt constrained by the limitations, both in terms of his rhythm on the court and his overall impact on the game. And then the article then goes on to say one or two other things. What are my thoughts on this? First of all, I'm confused. I truly am confused. Do you know why I'm confused about all of this? The reason I'm confused by this is because of all of the surrounding narratives surrounding LeBron James, especially if we look at those seasons, last year, the year prior, surrounding his availability and all that. Why am I saying this? Because, when you peddle a lot of BS, after a while, like people start taking this kind of stuff seriously. What am I talking about? Okay. On the one hand, you hear people say, hey, LeBron is a pretty old guy. He's in his late 30s. So, there should be no surprise when he misses games because LeBron is dealing with injuries and all of that. So whenever LeBron James goes through injuries, it's because of his age. So the Lakers organization then says, okay, you know what? We're going to try to limit his minutes to reduce the wear and tear on his body. But then LeBron doesn't like that because he feels like he's prepared physically and mentally for a season, but then he gets injured and then misses games. And then if he doesn't play well, his fans say he's old, but then the team is trying to monitor his minutes, but then LeBron wants to go full bore. Like, what the hell are we talking about? Like, what in the world are we talking? Like, this morning I woke up and I saw a tweet from LeBron James on X, and he's complaining about why the Lakers have to travel from LA to Milwaukee for one game and then come back. It's like, do you realize LeBron is the only NBA player that posted that tweet? Do you realize this? Like, if my thing is, if you're tired, then just retire. Like, if you're tired, just retire. But like, if you're not going to retire, then why are you complaining about traveling and all that? Like, it's just so confusing with this team. There's so many different narratives. If LeBron doesn't play well, he needs to rest. The last 2 years has been his ankle. He's been having ankle injuries. So if he's been having ankle injuries, wouldn't it make sense for the team to try to monitor his minutes so he doesn't exacerbate the problem? But then LeBron is saying he doesn't want to do it. He's never been a fan of it. Okay, so then let him play. And if he plays a bunch of minutes and he gets hurt, so be it. Right? I don't understand half of these stories surrounding it. That's the first part. The second part, you didn't see the clip, but if you saw the clip, it would almost seem as if the way the film was edited, or the docuseries or the series is edited, it would seem as if it was Darvin Ham's idea to monitor LeBron's minutes, because there was a clip when they show in the clip where Darvin Ham basically says that we have a lot of young guns that can carry the load to allow some of our older players to be a little bit more fresh. And then they cut over to LeBron saying he doesn't want minutes restrictions. So they're making it seem like maybe it was a Darvin Ham invention. So what does that mean? What are we expecting to see this year? LeBron's going to be playing, 35, 38 minutes a game? Is that what's going to happen? Okay, then let that happen. As long as, the only question I care about is any of this going to generate wins in the win column? Because to me, man, the Lakers and this story of he's complaining about, they're just a confusing team. Like, they're so confusing. Because all last year, it was all, LeBron is dealing with this knick-knack injury, dealing with that knick-knack injury. So to me, it seemed like the minute restrictions are helping him. It's another thing when you completely load manage. That's something different. But the minute restrictions make sense if you want to monitor his body. Like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I really, really don't understand this team. Right? I don't understand this team. Number one. Number two, I was listening to Man Down Sports, and he brought up a good question, which was, what team can say that they are a title contender when their best player is a 40-year-old player? And I had to sit back and think, like, man, that's a pretty interesting question. I don't even think LeBron's concern should be about his minutes. I think the entire focal point of this Lakers team and the focus should be on Anthony Davis. Really, he's the one that they should be pushing. Like, I think if the Lakers want to achieve any real success, Anthony Davis has to be the focal point of whatever it is that they're doing. And to me, in all of this, I don't hear anything about Anthony Davis. This is just another story about LeBron's minutes restrictions. And I'm sure this is going to morph into something else throughout the regular season, where people are going to say, well, LeBron's complaining about his minutes. But then if he gets injured, people say, well, he's old. But then the Lakers are wrong for trying to monitor his. I don't know what the hell is going on